I had like this breakdown right after this Camp Rock 2 tour that I did. I had an incident where I basically had a breakdown, and it caused me to do a lot of reflection. And so a couple years after going through that and dealing and going through the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, there's a step in there. The 9th step is to make amends. So I had to make amends to a lot of people, saying like, I'm sorry I was so challenging to work with at the time. I was so miserable in my own skin and dealing with what I was going through that I wasn't the nicest person to work with at the time. And I think that chapter of my life where I was being really reflective of everything, and like I wanted to make sure, I wanted to right my wrongs. And so that was like a few years after Disney Channel. And then I've continued to reflect, and over the years I've just gained more and more compassion, especially after shooting Child Star, you know, just getting to have conversations with people that were in the same position as I was really impactful, and it made me really reflective on that as well. And so, yeah, I've continued to have grace and compassion for myself.
What I love so much that you said that I think is really important, I want to pull it out because I think it applies to anyone, is that we get into these, we don't even know sometimes the decisions that we're making are because we're hating ourselves for things we did to survive.
Yes. Oh my God.
You know what I mean? That's so
Yeah.
important what you just said, because a lot of times we don't know why we're putting ourselves in these situations, but we're putting ourselves in situations that aren't really helping us. They're actually hurting us. And it's actually because we're mad at ourselves.
Yes.
And we're mad at ourselves about we were just trying to do to move forward. Like whatever bad attitude or whatever you were doing that was making you difficult, it's like, that's what you had to do to get through. You know what I'm saying?
And I mean, I was 17.
You know what I mean?
16, 17, like, I don't know. I just wasn't always the nicest, because what happened was when people would come on set and they'd say, "Good morning, Demi, how are you?" In my head, I would literally think, you don't care about me. You're just, you don't really care how I'm doing.
But it was true though. You weren't wrong. You know what I mean? Not to say that.
Right.
Not trying to say that.
No, but
that
it's
was
true.
But it's, you were dealing with, that's actually valid.
And I just wanted so badly for someone to see that I was struggling. And when I ended up having my breakdown, like everyone did, and I was able to explain to people afterwards, like, it wasn't personal. Like when I showed up and was bratty on set, like that was not my intention. I was just doing like exactly what you said, doing what I had to do to survive.